Who do you think is the best director in South Africa?
At this point in time?
Yeah.
You mean now or before?
Now, right now. Hey. Right now and then before.
It's a tough one.
I think Manje End for me.
But for me, it's Vincent Moloi, the one who did Jovicho. Vincent is one of the best. And also, currently, I love King Shaft, where he did Hostela second season.
Luzu.
Oh yeah?
What's going on, man?
I'm good, man.
How are you, brother?
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I remember, bro, when I went to your event, it was last week, Neke? It was last week. Mm-hmm. It was last week, and I have to say that you are doing an amazing job because La Payana, I felt like everyone there. I've never been in an environment where there's everybody that enjoys film like I do.
Yeah.
La Payana, like we all share a common interest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we were sharing ideas and talking about these things that we film, and people are teaching us things we don't know. I had a question, you didn't answer my question.
I didn't answer on purpose.
Why, man? Why?
Now, with me, if you organize something, you worry about the people.
Yeah.
And I was worried also with time and all of that. And some questions, you don't just explain them in a second. You need to take some time. So I was like, guys, we need to close down, because I was like, guys, nah. Yeah. I'm worried, guys, and they need to leave, and it's dark outside. We just had a load shedding. Yeah. So it's one of those where I was like, I have to close it down.
No, that was good. That was good. Tell me more about that event. How did it come about?
I remember back in, I think it was around about 2000 or 2001, I wanted to study at AFDA, Joburg. That was the first AFDA. I think they were 2 years old at the time, in Braamfontein. So I was so desperate, because I wanted to, after matric, I wanted to study film further. And I find out that there's AFDA in Joburg. So I collected some money, got a job, and then I went to Joburg. And then because of at the time it was expensive, and I just went there with hoping to get a bursary in Joburg. And then I realized that they had sessions on Wednesdays where all filmmakers will meet, and they will critique short films, they will critique whatever work on those Wednesdays. Okay. So I like the idea since then, and I was like, I would love to do this. This was 2000 or 2001, so it's been a while. So that idea stuck to me. So I was like, I need to do this on my own one day. And then finally, 3 years back, I sat down and I was like, Durban is growing. We have quite a number of, not even quite a number, just 2 or 3 productions which are running in Durban. And I felt like as they are growing, I wanted to grow the project and the event at the same time. Because I wanted to have an impact and say, as much as we have these projects, let's have also a network place where we can sit and actually talk about these issues. Because at the end of the day, it's fine to share ideas. And I was like, as artists, we go out, we drink, we just lose our money through alcohol, but we don't have, because we work like crazy hours. So the only time where we relax is go out and have fun. So for me, I was like, let me create this platform for artists to come, especially filmmakers, television, to come and sit down and talk about issues, have ideas, network. And people that might not know, I know people you might not know. So let's come together, talk about it. Some people think film is just what you watch on TV. They don't understand behind the scenes. It's a lot of work. So I created a platform for us to know what is an AD, what is a writer, what is a DOP. Because people don't even know. They see credits and they think, oh, DOP, they don't know behind who are these people. Because they only know actors. They're interested in the actors.
I've been, it's crazy because ever since I started like being involved in film,
I was watching in Deep City the other day. I don't have, funny enough, I don't have a television set. I'm only on my TV, so which is kind of weird with the fact that I'm film.
You don't
But I don't have a television set, and whenever I found myself Nisekaya, I switch it on, and I really love Ama Productions Amand.
Yes.
He's the best.
He's an alumni of AFDA. So when I wanted to study at AFDA, he was already studying at AFDA at the time. So you see the coincidence.
Did you meet him?
No, I never got a chance to meet him. But I knew at the time when I wanted, there are quite a number of guys who are established now, who were studying second or first years when I wanted to study there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what a coincidence. We in the same industry and I know where they started, but I couldn't study because of finances at the time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
had I had the money to study at the time, I would never be where I am now.
Yeah.
I'll be at the same level as Mandla N.
So right now you're working at Imbewu.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you're the producer and sorry, you said
trainee.
I'm
training, yes.
To be a producer.
Yeah.
And how's that going?
You know, the only difference between small production and big production is the budget. But the workflow is not really that different. Because the template you use for budgeting in your small production is the same as you go work for television.
Yeah.
So it's only the budget and only the workflow in terms of now you're dealing with a large number of people. Because in a big production, you are around about 200. But in a small production like mine, you'd find that there's 20 of us, 30 of us, because there's no finances. So that's the only difference.
So what are you talking about when you talk about the budget workflow and the budget structure?
When it comes to budgeting, a no budget, it's where you have a zero budget to like your 5,000, 10,000. But on a professional level, your rhythm cities and all of that, when it comes to budget, we're speaking of like millions now. We're no longer talking about thousands, we're talking hundreds, we're talking millions. So that's the difference I'm talking about. When you talk about these big productions, we talk big budget. And also in movies, it's the same thing. You'll find a budget which is like 10 or 15 million to shoot, maybe a 3 months project or 6 months project. But on me, I need to cut that down into a 5,000. So you see the difference from a 15 million to a 5,000 budget. Like obviously, there's a big gap and also a big difference between the two productions.
So man, is there a way of like sort of like an academic way, the way that you taught in school, or a right way, or like an industry way where of using the budget? Do you know what I mean? Or like a systematic way? Because I think the producer deals with the budget.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, with the experience and also working in the industry for quite some time now, most of the guys who are running production, some of them never went to school. It's just they are born with the talent. And some are skilled with money. Some are economically intelligent. And some are leaders. Some they understand how to run a business. Because you'll find an accountant in film. He's there, busy with the budget. So if I'm a producer, I'm dealing with my accountant. You have someone who deals with the business side of things. So we'll employ based on their skills. So sometimes you're not really, if you're on the money side in terms of production, when it comes to accounting and all of that, you can hire someone who knows that. Maybe someone who's going to come and audit. You need to have someone who studied that. It doesn't necessarily need to be a filmmaker. But sometimes it's nice to be an accountant and understand the creative side of it. If you are a filmmaker and it just happened you studied economics and all of that. But sometimes you don't really need that if you run a production, because you got guys who went through school and studied that.
So what does the job of a producer entail? When's I'm producing?
Your whole purpose is to make sure that the production is done and is finished from beginning to end. And you need to make sure the money spent doesn't run out. So if you say you have a 10 million project, you're going to shoot it for 5 months. As a producer, it's your job to make sure that it happens, whether you like it or not. So your job is to make sure you monitor each and every channel, where the money goes, how it's spent. And once you over budget, it becomes a problem. Once you budget lower, sometimes it works in your advantage because you still have that amount of money that is left. But your aim as a producer is to make sure that the production is well taken care of. You the main head of everything that happens in the production. So if you get a producer that doesn't know how to save and that doesn't know, they know how to spend only, then you're in trouble. Because you will have a 3-month project that ends in 2 weeks because your producer was busy chowing money or was overpaying, maybe equipment, was overpaying salaries. So you need to have an intelligent producer who knows how to run a business, and especially television or film. So you need someone who knows and can promise and say, due to what I've done before, I can save you this how much money, or I can spend this much money and the project will be completed at the same time.
Okay, I see. And producers earn a lot of money, eh?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely,
you have to. Money,
you have to. The stress that comes with that salary at the end of the day, you have to get paid a lot.
How much do they get paid on average? Overseas, she's South Africa.
South Africa, well, overseas, you get guys who are set for life. That guys who get like close to $1 million per project, depending. Are we talking maybe safe house? Are we talking? We're talking like big projects here. So $500,000 or to $1 million depends on what type of a project you're working on, and also on a budget.
So you get paid per project.
Per project, yes.
Not like every month or something.
No. Let's say we're shooting a movie now. Once you're done with that, you can invoice for the next one.
So how does the producer decide on his fee?
The experience, obviously, for everyone. From artists, actors, directors. You need to consider experience at the end of the day. So you might be the best DOP, but without experience, I can't guarantee that you know the work. Somebody can vouch for you and say, yeah, this guy I've worked with. But if you have 1 or 2 projects you've worked on as a DOP, I can't trust you because I have a 15 million budget here that needs to be spent. So if you want to come with your 2 projects that you've done, I can't trust you that much. So an amount of experience is needed at least before I make any decisions.
And in South Africa, how much is average?
The budget I saw before, which was close to 100 million, I know the producer there was getting like 90 grand to 200,000. Some are getting like 200,000. It depends on the project.
So 100 million rand project, but the producer only gets 90k.
Yeah, it's a 10% there.
Too little.
Yeah, not 100 million. We're talking like, let's say, 100 million project. We can get paid like 150,000 to 200,000
for that one project.
For that one project.
Too little. It's too little.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I think the producer should be getting at least to almost $1 million. How much does the director get in like
he gets way less than that.
The director gets in a 100 million rand project.
Yeah.
The producer only gets 90. That's like I think that's like less than 10% if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Remember, you know the no one who get paid.
I know, bro. But in America, if you compare it to, do you think that South African filmmakers are underpaid?
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, at some point they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a big problem?
It is, because but at the end of the day, we need to understand that we're still growing. Our government is still in whatever happens with the government funding and also the money that comes from government, if they don't know what they've done with the 500 billion, it affects us also in our sector. So it means if the government is supplying enough money to our sector, then it means other projects or production companies will be able to pay off quite a number of projects. Yeah.
So now, Tina, do we depend on the government a lot to fund our projects, or do you also have like private investors?
We really don't have private investors, because we have National Film Video Foundation, which is NFVF. We have Durban Film Office, which is also under government. We've cut a number of funds, and also we have these commissions, each and every province, your Cape Town, Joburg. We've got quite a number of commissions that are tied to our government. Privately, the last time I heard of a private person who funded a film was Black Coffee, who paid this comedian when he was shooting his movie. He was like, David Kau. Not David Kau. It's
the guy with the big hair.
Why am I forgetting his name?
Yeah, I remember that movie.
So that's the only private.
Did you watch that movie?
I did.
How was it?
As story wise, it sank as a story, but I like the quality. The quality. The story didn't really touch me because it's about this guy who deals with drugs.
The
one who's in Movango,
Matwete. That's the name of the movie.
Yeah,
I watched it.
The storyline I didn't like, but I like the quality of the movie.
Yes, I like the quality as well. I remember I did watch it. Yes.
Yeah, the story was very simple. I was like, there's nothing challenging for me.
Yeah, it was a comedy, no?
It was a comedy.
Yeah.
But quality, he did a good job with the actors also.
I think he did do a good job. Because another thing is that most of those actors I didn't know.
Yeah, that's another thing which I liked.
I think I didn't know most of those actors, and
it was like he just discovered these
the
actors.
two guys who were lead there, they did a wonderful job. But like, unfortunately, one of the guys passed away.
Oh yes,
the lead one. Yes. I forgot their names, but they did a good job, man.
I think he did do a good job, and I think he should. He needs to be funded. That guy.
He's on Netflix, so he's good.
Are you serious?
He's on Netflix.
What's he doing?
He did Pearl Tusi. What's this movie that was playing on Netflix?
That
Pearl Tusi was the lead in that.
Wasn't that an American film?
No. It was
South
his.
African.
It was his. He was funded by Netflix.
It's rude that we talk about this guy.
I'm bad with names. I don't know why. I keep forgetting names.
Flip.
I forgot his name, but I'm gonna remember now. So he's good. He's on Netflix.
Yeah. He's very good. Shit, I need to watch his movie, man.
And he has a show now where he's driving around and he's interviewing entertainers. I'm not sure whether it's SABC3 or Zanzi, but he also has a show where he interviews guys while driving at the same time. Yeah. So I do follow his work, and he's doing amazing. Nice. And remember now, he also has the comedy events that he does.
Yeah.
So he's nice. He's
doing well.
He's nice. He's very soft.
Very soft.
He's living a soft life.
You can't be living softer than Mandla, eh?
Yeah, Mandla I can't say that much because I only know him on TV.
On TV, no.
And also comedy and also commercials. But other than that,
Mandla does a good job.
Mandla.
Who do you think is the best director in South Africa
at this point in time?
Yeah.
You mean now or before?
Now, right now. Right now and then before.
It's a tough one.
I think Mandla end for me.
But for me, it's Vincent Moloi, the one who did Jovicho. Vincent is one of the best. And also, currently, I love King Shaft, where he did Hostela second season. Yeah, he did some good work there, so I was very impressed. So those are the two guys which I love so much in terms of directing thus far. Yeah, they push the boundaries.
What's his name?
It's King Shaft, and also it's Vincent Moloi.
So Dog, and then before this, who's your other favorite director? You said there's a current one, and then before, like
before, not even before, but in terms of work, because the last time I saw Vincent, it was Jovicho, and then King Shaft did second season of Hostel just now it was playing. So, but currently, oh my goodness, it's not as easy as I thought now.
Hostel, wasn't it produced by Black Brain?
Yeah, the second season.
Second season.
And then first season was Stay in Class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which production do you think did a better job?
Between the two?
Yeah.
First Stay in Class did a good job because they introduced us to the story.
Yeah.
And then second season, it was all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of story.
Yeah.
But first season is always going to be the best because that's when you introduce yourself. Then to maintain that is not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah, so first season Hostel did wonders for me. It was crazy. Production-wise, quality, directing, damn. I still remember season 1. Yeah. Season 2 took it to the next level in terms of how they shot. But the story was a mess.
The story was
a mess. Actors came through also, second season. Which is first season, the guys they brought their A game. But it's not easy to maintain a story for me because my thing is story all the time. And I always try my best to run away from stereotypes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I have a problem with every production that we do in South Africa.
Yeah.
We don't want to move away from the stereotype because that's where the money is at.
Like what?
Always seeing the black man beating up a woman.
Yeah.
It's there, I understand, but my question is, why don't we see a lot of other races doing that in our faces?
Yeah.
I understand with the majority in South Africa, but it doesn't mean all our laundry should be out. We know we have a problem with abuse, but if we're gonna keep seeing it every day, because to me, images
it's brainwashing.
Yeah, I mean, when you brainwash people, show them images, you play them bad music.
Exactly.
That's the easiest way of brainwashing people.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think is a problem with our media industry, not just in South Africa, the whole world.
But other countries, like if you look at what was what Nigeria was doing when they were popular on DSTV.
Yeah.
They were telling their stories the way they wanted. You will see witchcraft, you will see all of that, but they never actually showed us the bad side of. Because those movies, when you watch them, you were entertained by the witchcraft, which is something that it's common to Africans.
Yes.
So I hardly remember a movie where I watched it where so many times a woman was beaten, so many times there was rape, so many times. I'm not saying let's not do it, but there's a point where it's too much.
It is too much.
We need to balance and show both sides.
Yeah, and it's weird how, you know, like in movies, right? You usually see that, like in American Western movies, you find the case is usually like a white family, male, young family, 30s, early 30s. They live in a beautiful house. They got maybe 1 or 2 kids, 2 cars. Guy's a lawyer, lady is a physiotherapist. All the time.
That's what you see.
It's been a norm.
Yeah. Even Indians, when you watch Indians content, you always see them in a.
It's been crazy, and another thing that I also noticed. I was watching, and I saw there's a pattern here. The black people, right, are always put in a light and painted as rapists and abusers and murderers and druggies and angry people and poor people,
especially angry women.
Especially angry women, you know. And one of the best films that I saw, where it wasn't not that it was portrayed that well, it's just that the performance of Tyrese Gibson and that lady, I forgot her name, with Baby Boy. Have you watched it? You've watched Baby Boy? It's an amazing
When did
film.
they release this year?
It's a long time ago.
Is it a Tara Perry production?
I don't think so. Quite a while back. Almost 2001, 2002.
Okay.
Very early.
Is it the movie where he is a kid and then there's gunfight outside and he almost loses his kid through the whole gang?
They almost shoot him. He's just a big guy.
I think I
was
remember
like 24 living with his
that
mom.
movie. I think I remember that movie.
I think that was a very, very wonderful performance from almost all the actors, especially that lady. Just her portrayal of that character was so amazing. I forgot her name. She's a very, very, very popular actress. Anyway, so it's sad. I don't want to lie. It's sad seeing that is what's being portrayed of black people, and it happens a lot with non-black productions, you know. I see Tyler Perry is trying to change that with his films.
He's the worst.
You reckon?
He's the worst. I used to love his movies, but as I understood now and started investigating more about stories and how we tell on ourselves, and then I realized that he was not really a role model for us. Because the only thing we know about him is Madea and a man dressed in a woman. So what does it say to you? Because if he acts as himself, it's hard to believe him. It's only when he's Madea. And when you watch his movies, it's all about the same thing we were talking about. Women who goes through abuse, and he hardly shows men in a positive light in his movies. They always abuse and they always hit women. So I mean, for me, it's all about balance. You can talk about these things, but also show the other side.
Balance it out.
Because remember, whoever is watching is gonna, especially women, who sees these women beating up guys. I mean, guys beating up women all the time. In their minds, they're gonna say men are trash. Because that's part of the content they consume every day.
Do you think that the world leaders and the globalists and the world elitists use media to shape society?
It's been like that since the early 1800s. Because there's a guy, I forgot his name, he actually said the most powerful tool you can use to destroy a human being is television or media. Because look at, if at some point you become conscious as an artist and you speak and you want people to grow and see what's going on in the world, what happens to them? Media goes all over them. They start taking out your whole name so that you don't exist anymore.
Exactly, right?
And then after that, at some point they're gonna say you're sick, and they're gonna say there was a car accident. But after that, your name is tarnished already.
Yes.
So I believe media also is a source of destroying whoever wants to bring out the positive in every one of us.
Yeah, it's really sad that happens, because if you look at even the music that they're allowed to get out there, and I always say, man, we always had this conversation here at the office. When I look at people like Michael Jackson, The Weeknd, who's this guy that made the popular song from an old white guy who was pregnant. He acts like
Lil Baby or something.
Some guy like that.
I think so.
He acts like a demon. He wears women's clothes. He was pregnant.
I think that's Lil Baby.
When you see all of those things, and you see Michael Jackson changing his race and The Weeknd changing his face to look like a woman, those guys don't make those decisions themselves. I promise you. I think those guys get that offered a big bag. I honestly think that there are a few men that can do that, but it's too much, my G.
But if it's something that you feel comfortable, I can't argue with you if you feel comfortable in a lady's clothes.
Yeah, we can't.
I can't really fight you on that.
We can't argue with that, But with back to the point of Uguti, you said that you do think Uguti media or global elitists use media to shape society.
Yeah.
And we've heard about systematic racism and systematic propaganda of how America was trying to shape the black community, the direction that they wanted. You know what I mean? They were making tests, medical tests, injecting people with diseases and sickle cell and all of that stuff. Now, even with the media that they were using, even these celebrities that we see, being emasculated, that is another way of defeating and weakening. Let me just finish my point of just weakening the black male figure. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think these guys get paid.
But when do you draw the line between your choice and what you see on television? Because you have a choice, isn't it?
Yes.
If I see guys smoking all the time on TV, it's my choice to say, I think that is nice.
Yeah.
Let me do it.
Yeah.
But I choose also not to go along with whatever I see. So when is the thin line then when you say, as much as they're getting the bag, but at the end of the day, someone will say, it's your choice to wear a dress after you saw me to wear a dress.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you have a choice.
Yeah.
My worry are the kids.
Exactly.
Because they are the ones who don't have a choice.
Yes.
Because kids act on what they see.
Yes.
If the parents are beating each other in the room, they will play around it and it becomes something that they get used to. If they see young men wearing women clothes, they will tend to go towards that because they really don't have a choice.
Yes.
And I'm talking about from like 6, 7 up until 12, 13. Those are the people that I worry so much because that's where the future is at.
Yes.
We were once 13 and now we're this old.
Exactly.
So we just need to make sure then this content, who is it for?
Yeah.
If we're going to listen to songs about these guys calling B words on music videos, then who's the market?
Yeah.
We just need to identify that.
Yeah.
Because now I can speak for you as an 18-year-old because you made a choice to wear a dress. So I can't really speak and say, no, this artist got a bag, Lil Baby got a bag, he's wearing dresses so that he can influence men.
Yeah.
But men decided to wear dress. He never put a gun on their head and said, wear a dress.
Yeah.
So we just need to have an understanding of when this is pushed into our media, who's the target market?
Yeah.
And as a parent now, it means if it's not along the line of your kid, then you have a responsibility as a parent to teach your baby and say, as a young man, I expect you not to wear a dress. It's your choice, but since you're under my rule and whatever content you get, and also don't play TV and play Channel O when you know that you don't want your boy to wear dress at some point, and you know that the boy is straight. So don't allow that even as a parent in your household. Because now who are you gonna blame?
Exactly.
You can't blame anyone because you as a parent, you didn't take the responsibility.
Yeah, I got you 100%.
So these things are happening around us. We say government, the elites and all of that, but the thing is, it starts from your home.
Exactly.
If you're gonna buy your kid the shortest skirt, if you're gonna buy your kid, or you're gonna say to them it's nice to sleep around, then the responsibility falls on a parent.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and it's. Sometimes I wonder if people see these things, but you see, the thing is, sometimes I sometimes think that people can't make decisions for themselves. If you look at the way society lives, we get told to go to school, get a good job, This is how girls are supposed to look. This is how girls are supposed to dress. In films, we see how, like I made an example earlier on, how we see white families being portrayed. This is how they're supposed to dress, as the rich,
the innocent.
This is how they live, and this is how the black people live. This is how you know what I mean. Sometimes sometimes you get the opposite of that. That happens around the world, but they won't show you that, right? But anyway, so one thing I sometimes think is that society doesn't have, they don't make they can't make decisions from themselves. They need to be directed and told, and that's what we see with films and media. It sort of shapes society's minds and puts us do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
So I was just saying that because although it's the responsibility of the parents and us as people to at the end of the day, sometimes we don't know that this is wrong because we seeing it coming from the TV screens. We saying, "Oh shit," you know what I'm saying?
But you know what's wrong and right,
exactly.
Especially if you're old enough.
Exactly.
So it means if it happens, then it's you who allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
So I want to go back. Also, remember in our industry, where do you make the most money? On reality TV shows, especially now. That's where the money is at. If you're doing this crazy stuff, people are going to watch it. Look at the highest ratings for every other production, whether it's your reality TV, your music videos, your dramas. Look at who's getting watched, and look at the content and what they're selling. Because remember now, what we do, it's a product. When you shoot a movie, that is a product. Your script is a product. The story you're telling is a product. So now, at some point, you need to make a decision to survive and make the profit you want. Are you going to be positive and not get the ratings, or are you going to follow the rest and and write the best stuff so that you can get the ratings? Because another thing you need to understand, channels are there to fund you. Once you don't get the ratings, they have a right to fire you and hire somebody else because you're not bringing in the crowd. So you need to think about it, and now it becomes to you as an individual, as a writer. Do I write what everyone is writing because of I need my work to be accepted? Or you're going to have morals and say, I'm not going to follow everyone. I'm going to stick to my guns and talk positively about anyone or black people in this conversation. Because I can't speak much about other races because I hardly see them being shown in a negative light so much.
Relate to them. We can relate to
I can't relate because I've never stayed in a suburb, so I can't relate much about their life. But the most important thing is you need to make a decision at the end of the day, whether you're a musician. Because here's a record label says, we're going to give you 2 million for 2 months. We just need you to write whatever shit you need to write. Because
not even write, we need you to sing. They
will give you and say, here's your album. We wrote all the songs for you. And when you read, you're like, but this doesn't make sense. But because of already there's a bag that you promised, now you need to make a choice as a man or as a woman and say, okay, sharp, my morals are, I want to have responsibility for the kids that are coming up. I don't want them to sing, hey, happy Swebe, or I don't want them to do that. If the song and the money that comes to you and they say sing about Swebe, then it becomes a decision that you make as an artist now. You can't blame anyone. And also now, I also blame the guys who are going to go and buy your record. Because at the end of the day, they like the Swebe part more than anything else. You might be positive. and say, okay, sharp, I want to be creative. Yes, they want the Sfebe part, but I also want the positive message. But people are gonna jump all of that. They're gonna sing the Sfebe only, and then forget the positive. So at some point, it's you sitting down and saying, I need the house, I need the Porsche, I need the townhouse. Then let me sacrifice myself and do whatever the record company or the production wants, because to you it's all about the bag. And we can't blame you for that.
Yeah,
we really can't blame you for that.
We can't, man. But it's something that I think also it's our fault. You know.
Yeah, as a consumer,
as black people,
we suck.
As black people, when I lose, I think it's our fault from the consumer. You know, from the end to like the beginning. You know, whereby it's the decision makers, the people with the influence. You know. Everybody, the government, the private companies that are owned by black people, the artists. I think it's our fault, as the African race, to put ourselves in this position, because it all begins. Everything has an influence, even our education system. You know, if our kids were well educated, much better by our government, or do you know what I mean? We wouldn't. Some of them, our judgment would be much better. Do you see what I'm saying? And we'd have much better morals, and we'd have much better self-respect for our own kind and ourselves. Even with our church, our church system is all messed up. It's all about money and this and that. There's so much things that influence, you know, how we are right now. The poverty that we have. You know, we keep blaming external sources for our problems. Meanwhile, the problem is within. Do you know what I'm saying? When we stop blaming, I think, and we start doing, it's gonna change. And I think it is possible for us to see like media that is productive.
I think they're gonna close down YouTube soon, because YouTube is free. YouTube is, everybody is having a different conversation which is needed. But I feel like at some point they are just letting it go for now. There are going to be strict rules. They're gonna control what we say now on YouTube. Just like television. So at some point, my question is, what else are we gonna use? What other platform we're gonna use? Because YouTube, so far, I like it because I get the content I want, the honesty, the other side that you won't get on television. So that's what I like about YouTube, because everything that I watch are things that you'll never get, the content you'll never get on the other side, which is our channels. But I know definitely now they already started closing down the channels of free speech. Where other shows now, they dropping them down because they are too honest. There are things that they're not supposed to do.
Which ones did you like watching?
From day one, Meg G, I've been following him from day one.
He's amazing.
No. From where he started, because when I was in Joburg, I used to listen to his show at Y. So when I saw a couple, I think the third or fourth episode, I was like, oh, this guy is still alive. Because he was quiet for some time, and I know he's ruthless on the mic. He's very good. So I started following from there. And also another one, there's one they call Fresh and Fit. They're talking about women. And also how modern society women think, and they've lost the whole thing of understanding men. So I like that content, because they put it bluntly that what women that we have today, they were lied to by feminists, where they told them that now you need to be a boss, you need to do your own thing. And they never told them that you become lonely at the top, because you make all the money, and men are not attracted to money. They're attracted to you being submissive. You don't want to date a girl who's going to tell you, I've got my own money. Don't tell me what to do. So I love those kind of content. So for now, those are my most two podcasts that I watch every day.
Hey, that's nice, bro. That's nice. So, bro, you said that you're working on other projects.
Yeah.
What other projects are you working on?
So I've got a film that I shot last year. It's called Death of Spaza. So also it's more about me observing what's happening in my community. What is happening now? Economy in our townships was Spaza shops. It was tavern, taxi, salons. Back then. You can only make money. You knew there was a girl who had a spaza shop. You had to date her because she's gonna give you some cash. So you knew that where the economy was coming from. But when these guys came from outside, they are taking over now. Every township you go to, there's always a spaza shop for other guys who are outside of the country.
Yes.
And you hardly find anyone who lives in the township who owns a spaza shop.
Yes.
Maybe there's one or two,
Yes.
but the majority is from guys who are living outside.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're losing that economy. And what I've realized, in other township now, they are owning taverns, these guys from outside. Then I'm asking myself a question. Now, that money that we're supposed to give each other, not really give, but to spend
The
amongst
economy,
each other, the
yeah,
economy that we only, because I'm not talking about malls, because malls are separate from the conversation that I'm talking about. So if we're losing that economy now, because these guys are coming, they take the money from us, because you get your salary at the end of the day, you get umkholo wakho zugogo, where you think you're going to go. Because sometimes there's no time to go to the mall. So they're going to spend the money to who? From these guys. And these guys, they take that money and boom, it goes straight back to wherever they come from. And now I was like, oh, now the economy is no longer circulating amongst us. I need to write a story about it.
Yeah.
So I wrote that story, Death of Espaza. This guy is the only guy who owns the shop in the area, because he's competing with these guys now. People are not buying at his shop because, you know, black people sometimes it's not easy to support each other. They're like, he 2 years, he thinks he's clever. Let's just go and buy on Somalians. Let's leave him alone. But this guy has been there from day one as a kid. The store has been there since during the 1900s. So it's the biggest and the oldest store that is there, situated there. So he's the only one who's holding on, while these guys are owning the shops. So the story is about him now with a daughter. He's saying, I want you to, when I die, I want to leave this store to you. And the daughter is like, I'm educated. I can't be running a store. To me, it doesn't make sense. So she doesn't see the value of the spaza shop. But at the same time, in hindsight, she was studying at varsity, the same cash
that came from the
spaza.
Yeah.
But now she doesn't want to take over because she thinks running a spaza is a stigma.
Yeah.
People don't take you seriously. So the conflict is about between the daughter and the father now, and also the whole legacy of now. Are we gonna lose the store just because of now you're educated? But throughout the story, you get to find out what's going on between these two. Because at some point she realizes that, oh, I've been thinking wrongly my whole life.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, I understand why my father wants me to run the spaza shop. So it's sort of a message to us in townships. Don't look at this spaza and think it's just you know these mothers who are sitting at taxi ranks. Those guys, they make a lot of money.
Make lots of money.
Because a day she goes with like 2,000, 3,000 a day.
Yeah.
Remember, a plate, it's only a potato, rice, and then a plate is 30 rand. Imagine if she sells like 20 plates a day.
It's a lot of money.
Because if now you buy a 5 kg chicken, your return in that 5 kg, if you're selling your plate with 30 rands, it's a lot. And people don't really understand because they don't see billboards, they don't see this person running the business in a mall. So it's always a tricky situation where I'm like, we don't even see our own economy around us, because we think economy runs from malls, economy runs from telecom, but we still have our own economy around us, and we're losing it because we're giving it to somebody else. Because those guys, they come, they take over.
It's an amazing story. First of all, it's an amazing story, and that point that you just made, I think again, you know, it goes back to us educating ourselves, you know, and about business, you know, and you know what I mean? Like as South Africans and Africans, we need to be more educated, start more businesses, educate ourselves about money making and saving money and all of that. Eventually, you know, because at the moment it feels like we just going with the flow.
Yeah, no, I mean we're so confused now.
You know,
to be honest with you, not just the youth.
Yeah.
From everyone, we are very confused. The perfect example is now the voting.
What do you think about
now
that?
when you were very confused,
Let's talk about the
you were
voting.
not sure where to stand.
Yeah.
Your heart is telling you ANC has been there.
Yeah.
I can't throw it away. But the same heart says, hey, they haven't
done anything, right?
For quite some time we've been waiting.
Yeah.
There's too much now load shedding. There's too much this and that. So you were in between. You were lost because the leaders out there are not showing us the way.
They're not doing anything.
They're just everywhere. They are leaders for the sake of being called leaders. And I'm not saying all. There are guys who are really, really fighting for South Africa to be at a different place and to be in a good position. But there are those who are pulling it down. Because now it's all about them and the families and being rich. So I'm not saying everyone. But from what we see every day, man, you can tell it's going to be a long journey. It's going to be a long journey.
Yeah, it's crazy because I another thing that I was thinking is that a lot of people didn't vote. We had a lot of people that didn't vote, and I promise you that those people that didn't vote are people who maybe say, and it's across a lot of age groups. It's not just the young people. Mostly it's the young people, but the people that didn't vote, like this time around, maybe 8 years ago, half of those people voted for the ANC.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And then
they grew up voting for ANC.
You see what I'm saying? And now maybe they're realizing, as you're saying, what's happening in front of them, and it's conflicting. They see other parties. Maybe they're considering about voting about other parties, but maybe I'll say maybe so many times. But you know what I mean, like, because they voted for the ANC and they're thinking about voting for another party, it's a crazy thing. Voting for any party, no vote.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? They're thinking about it. Yeah, but kuna manya basaba you vote any party. Yeah, but sure.
Especially our parents, our grandmothers.
Exactly, basaba.
Because Mandela might walk up in the grave if they don't.
Bro. So, but I really think that we're gonna see ANC losing power. For me, I don't think ANC
they're never gonna lose power.
I think they're gonna lose power in the next 20 years. I think so. I honestly think that I'm gonna live.
I don't think in the next 20 years we'll be still depending on votes.
Yeah.
Because the system is changing every now and then.
Yeah.
So in the next 10 years they're gonna introduce something new in terms of how leadership is gonna be there. But remember now we're going to this one world thing. So at some point in the next 10-15 years, I don't think vote is really gonna be important.
Yeah.
Because now, I mean, for me, it's all about you can rig whatever. If I play lotto and I know how to rig the whole machine, I can win. So for me, it's always the case of there's always an advantage of rigging the game.
Yeah.
You can always mess it up if you know how to.
Yeah.
So we can vote and the numbers can be EFF. No one knows whether EFF lost or not because somebody is in control of the numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, it's like a game situation whenever it comes to voting.
Yeah.
It's about the fact that yes, they voted, but do we really want these guys to lose power?
What do you think? Do you want them to lose power?
No.
You want them to stay in power?
They need to stay in power, but you just need the right people for because ANC has good policies. It's just that the people who needs to deliver those policies, they are not doing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't see it helping because whoever is gonna come, they also need to do the same thing, follow the same policies of us having our own right, having to own whatever we need as black people, having to own businesses, having to have piece of land. It's the same thing. Because to me, is why not come together and just fight for the right thing?
Yeah.
Instead of having a lot of, because if you go, suddenly you see a ballot, there's hundreds of parties and you're like, why? We should just come together. Maybe two is fine, because the other one will always remind the other one that, hey, you're messing up, instead of having one. So I don't understand, because we're black people and we want to fight for the same thing. But instead we're clashing all the time. I really don't understand. Because if you really want people to own land, we should speak the same language. ANC, EFF, or IFP, we all need to speak that language. I don't understand why it should be a problem, because we're all fighting for the same thing. It's just that who's better at delivering on what they say.
Yeah, bro, but I don't know lie, man. It seems like the ANC is battling every year. It's getting worse and worse and worse. The way that they're managing the country, it just.
But who?
The roads are. The thing that I always tell people is that we have the power in our hands. We can vote. We can change. 4 years is a short time. The apartheid is not going to come back in 4 years. You know what I mean? Like some certain races are not going to be killed in 4 years. Do you see what I'm saying? The land that is going to be taken, not going to take the whole land and give it to one race in 4 years. 4 years is a short time, yeah, but it's enough time for us to see if a party is good for us or is making changes. Yeah, but enjoy. But now again, it goes back to education. What I was saying earlier on, Uguti. That's what I think. Yeah, but Uguti, as people, people don't make decisions by themselves. Media is very powerful. That's why people campaign and businesses campaign and brands and all these parties use media and propaganda and these words, yeah, to their advantage. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I really think that we should give other parties a chance. Yeah.
But I mean, you need to be fair. Even if you give someone a chance, are these people capable of doing it? Or are they going to make it worse? Because remember now, these people have been showering money for quite a while. Now you're bringing somebody else who's new into the money.
Yeah.
They're going to do the double or triple. Because remember apartheid also, these guys were showering money back then.
Yeah.
But they were not vocal about it.
Yeah.
The white apartheid guys, they were also doing the same thing. They were showering government money.
Yeah.
But now, because it's us, we just take our laundry out, we just say whatever we want to say. And the problem is we're not protecting each other and also helping each other. Because if really you were showering money, but at least give us the resources.
Yeah.
Give us something.
Yeah.
Don't just take the whole billion.
Everybody chows.
Yeah, everybody chows, but
FIFA chow,
everywhere
around the world.
But it's how you chow now. Don't chow everything.
It's how you chow. You know what I mean? And there's absolutely no point, bro, in having like, what are you gonna do with 100 million in your bank account?
How? Dubai.
What are you gonna do? Like
Dubai.
Do you see what I'm saying? But then, bro, you as a politician, when you're in that position, you're gonna be comfortable for a long time. You're gonna be comfortable for a very long time. Your kids are gonna be comfortable because of your reputation. But you don't need to have all of that. It's unnecessary.
Okay, remember now. Remember, you need to realize that at the end of the day, if you live on $1 million salary, you are far different from a person who lives from a 10,000. Because to you, a 10,000 is a plate.
Yeah.
And a shoe to you is like 30 grand. But for me, who gets paid 10,000, 30 grand is a lot. I'm thinking that's 3 salaries. So I understand these guys why they chow money, because they need to maintain their lifestyle. You're driving a car with a tire, maybe that tire costs like, one tire costs like 8,000. And the petrol is not the same as me. Mine could be 500, but this guy has a petrol, even sometimes whether they get paid through government or he needs to maintain it himself because he bought the Porsche. Petrol, the standard of living is not the same. So that 100 million to me is not the same as you if you're living on 10,000. To you, that's a lot of money. But to me, who gets paid that 150 million a year, it's nothing, because the standard, you flying, you doing crazy stuff, you buying expensive clothes, you're no longer wearing batu, you're wearing this stuff. Yeah, my boss, I like the guy. He's doing wonderful.
Amazing.
And I'm supporting him for being expensive, because Gucci,
he has to.
Yeah, you can't buy Gucci and then complain with my boss.
Right.
So for me, it's always, we need to look at it in that angle of, yes, the politicians, why would you chow 150 million? But when you look at it, these guys, how they spend it, they need to have that 150 million all the time. Yeah. Because they need to maintain that life.
Yeah, I know, bruh. But it again, it's unnecessary for them to do it, because me and you are alive. It's Pila, we're okay. Right now, we're not dead. You know what I mean? I just think what's in Jim. This culture that we in right now, I know we've been saying it's because it's new money, for South Africans, but it has to change along the line. We can't. Let me just have a drink of this.
But I understand what you're saying, because I always have a perfect example.
We need to educate our people in what matters in life. Right now, what's mattering in South Africa seems to be the Conkas, you know, the Vianos, you know, those V-Class Mercedes-Benz. It's that stuff. It's the Gucci's. It's the girls, slave queens, and the Kokos, and you know what I'm saying. It seems like it's that, and it's not. What matters is proper education. You know, it's us. You know, having better infrastructure, the quality of life instead of you know, flashy life. You know what I mean? It's us having proper houses and building roads and, you know, bringing us up into a competitive state to compete like with countries like Rwanda, Ghana. Those countries are flying when it comes to the charts. They're growing steadily. Rwanda, bro, is the fastest growing economy in South Africa, in Africa right now. So, Tinama Solove sends nonsense, kanje.
But then again, Rwanda is a small country than us. There's quite a number of us than in Rwanda. Rwanda is just a small. And also, the president also had to, at some point, make a sacrifice. Because he said to himself, I'm going to be here for the next 15 years. A lot of other parties have been wanting him out. So he had, at some point, because they call him a dictator, that he's dictating, he's doing some things that people don't agree with. But through him having a vision and understanding where he wants to put Rwanda, he actually came up with a lot of policies to make sure that he succeeds as a president in order to plow back and also have his vision being a success. So there are quite a number of sacrifices because not many people like him. Even from Western, there are kind of leaders who don't like his way of doing things because he wants to extract himself from fundings that are coming from the Western side of things.
Do you think that's a bad thing or a good thing?
It's a good thing. It's the same thing that Sankara did because he cut the whole funding thing from IMF. He said, I no longer want to be funded by the Western guys. I'm going to pay you your debt. After that, I'm going to start over. So he started talking to his people, explain that from now on, people need to craft their own clothes. They need to plow. There's no spoon feeding anymore. You have a yard, you need to plant clothes, you need to, everything. He started afresh. He built a railway, bare hands, because now they couldn't afford the machines. Because now at that point he said, I don't need anyone, especially someone who's going to come and dictate and tell me what to do. So 4 years down the line, the country was starting to open up their eyes. People were starting to understand his vision. They started to love the independence because they saw that now there's no one who's going to tell us what to do. No one is controlling them. At some point, someone decided to say, this guy is becoming successful. A lot of Rwandans, I'm going to remember this name now. A lot of them, they were starting to see the green light. They were like, okay, now we see what you're trying to do. Because now there's no longer any forces that are behind to distract the masses. So I feel like the moment you have somebody who's going to give you cash and you think you're going to, at the end of the day, you're not going to listen to them because they're going to control you at the end of the day. If I say to you, this podcast that you're doing now, I'm willing to give you 10 mil. But you need to do what I say. You need to make a choice. Same thing I said before. So if you're going to go and say, I'm building a country while somebody else is pumping money into your country, at some point they want a share. They want the gold. They want the minerals. They want the land. So what decisions are you going to make at some point? Because the same guys are giving you money. Are you going to tell them what to do? No ways. Because they find you at the end of the day. So some countries, especially some African countries, once they get the funding, once they get this whole money, it's very easy now to turn back on the funders and say, okay guys, thank you very much. We got what we wanted. Because remember now there's also a deal that is made. These are the things that we need to a country. Get us those things, then we'll give you this money. So at some point you need to make a deal. It can't be just you take and you can't give.
Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. And back, going back to Paul Kagame, you said that. I'm sure you read an article about some people don't like him. They think
quite a lot of guys don't. They also tried to assassinate him.
Yeah,
I think twice.
Yeah,
they wanted to kill him.
Do you think that it's because he's going against the the norm and is going against the globalists, you know what I mean, of the Western, you know, because the Westerns, all these presidents of Western countries, and they meet up and they basically they run the world. They tell Africa what to do. When an African country, like for instance Zimbabwe, does something that they don't like, they start, you know, retaliating with assassinations or destroying your economy or something like that. Well, do you think that with even with the media, they used media against you? Just like how you were saying, when you're an artist and you start voicing out, you start doing good things for your people, the media just says, do you think with him as well, those articles and the assassinations was because, not because he was a bad guy in his country and he was doing bad things, but because now the media needs to paint him in a bad picture. You know, because, hey, chief, you don't want to trade with us, you don't want to trade with the Western countries. That's not good. We need your business, but because you don't want to give us your business, we either will kill you or we'll make your people hate you and you'll get out of power and then we'll run.
I think what makes him survive so far maybe is the fact that he hasn't reached, because remember now the game is about numbers. If you reach a certain number, then they're going to start maybe having a problem with you, that you're becoming a problem now. Because then people are responding to you. So we need to make a decision about you. But if it's just a minor thing, they might let it slip for a while. But I think at some point they're going to tell him, and they've tried before. So I think at some point he will meet his maker, as long as if he's carrying on with this, because that's how other presidents died. Exactly. Suddenly you hear news that a certain president is dead. I'm not saying that there's evidence that he's killed by anyone else, but when you look into it, because the conspiracy theories, they sometimes play a part into other deaths. So you need to have a conspiracy theory at some point. Sometimes you might be right, sometimes you might be wrong. So I think with him, at some point when other African countries reply to what he's doing, let's say South Africa decides to do what it does, because South Africa is the main hub in Africa in terms of economy. So they might say, oh, you're becoming a problem because he's the leader of the whole change. Many other countries now, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, they're just coming into the party because of his policies. Then obviously now you're going to be a problem because you started it and others are joining in. So I need to take you out. Like, I just thought of his name now. Is it Gaddafi? I think that's the same thing that happened to him. Where he was like, now I think I'm in a better position to fight these guys. Because he wanted to start his own economy, African economy and all of that. And also African currency. So it was too much for others to say we can't accept that. But remember, guys, life is business at the end of the day. Exactly. Right. If you're messing up my business, then I need to deal with you. Because it's the same as Spaza Shops, as my movie wrote. When I wrote it, this guy is struggling. It's easy for him to send people to go and kill whoever starts a new shop, because he wants to be the main guy who runs the shop. Same thing in gangster movies. If they want to run a certain place, he will send his cronies to go and kill whoever. We always see that. So even in politics, I think it runs the same. It's gangsterism everywhere, but we don't call it gangster anyways.
We call it politics.
Yeah, we call it politics. There's gangster everywhere, Papa. Everywhere you go, it's always gangster life because people are hustling each other.
Now, but enough of politics. So tell me about writing.
Okay.
What do you think makes a good story? You know, what do you think, like a good written story? What is it?
Honest.
Honest. Okay. You need to be honest.
Yeah, you need to be honest. Tell it as it is. Don't try to brush around and say, yes, I am talking about it. But at the same time, if you want to say I'm talking about this, just be honest about it and put it out there. Because people, you know, in all of us, we don't want to be as honest as we want to. It's easy to lie than being honest. So I feel like the stories are very important when it comes to honesty. If you're gonna say I'm talking about South Africa, don't try the world to see us as if this is who we are, while we know it's not us. So especially in music, where guys now are crossing over to America, the accent, the way they write, they sound American. So the Americans are asking themselves, country, what is South Africa?
Yeah.
Because when you come to us, you look like us, you speak like us, you talk like us, you write like us. The beat is the same. Same as our movies. When we shoot our movies and we take them overseas, what's going to make us unique from them?
Yeah.
It's us.
Yes.
Because we're honest. You love being Zulu, I love being Xhosa, somebody else love being Tswana. We need to stick to that. Because there are a lot of stories within our cultures which are common. Because there's nothing uncommon about us in the world. But as Africans, at some point, there's something that we share from up there, Egypt downwards to Cape Town. At some point, there's something that we share as Africans that other races would love to know more about than the norm of that we see every day of black people hating on each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think honestly, it's the key. You need to write the stories the way they are. Don't beat around the bush and try to say, in South Africa, I'm writing a movie about that. All is good. But when people come here, they experience a different thing. But your movie said South Africa is the happiest. But when you come here, we don't see that. Yeah, you say, it's all good. We never had any load shedding. And people are watching your movie. You don't even mention that. Then when they come and experience this, they're like, but your movie said it's all nice and well in South Africa.
Yeah.
So you need to be honest all the time.
Okay.
I think in everything, not just writing only.
Just writing.
Yeah, even if you're a musician. Because most successful musicians, I'm going to jump around because music and television is almost the same to me.
Yeah.
If you look at the most, known artists like West Java, they write from the heart. They're being honest about themselves.
Yes.
And how could West Java win an award from America while singing in his language?
Bro.
How would Umere Makeba win an award singing in his language, in her language?
Yes.
Why would Black Mambazo win Grammys while singing in their own language?
Right?
Why is the youth so hard to do that? Because we think singing in English is going to take us there. Writing in our movies needs to be in English. Thinking that is because an Oscar, when you apply for an Oscar for your movie to be taken an Oscar, they will always say you are a foreign, and they will say have 90% of your indigenous language and then 10% English or 5% English. So they expect in your movie majority of the people need to speak the indigenous language, whether Western or North or South Africa. That's what they expect. So it shouldn't be now when you write a movie, it's all about, I think my actors will sound nice in English. But the cast is black, all black, but they all speak English. And you can tell they are struggling because we're not that good in English, some of us. So don't put yourself in that position. So that's why I say at some point, you need to be honest.
Yeah. Who's your favorite writer?
My favorite in SA?
Everywhere. Tell me one in SA and tell me another one in around the world.
My favorite is the guy who wrote The Suit. There's a series called The Suit. Yeah. And also Shameless. Yeah. You know those two series, they're my best. I just forgot the writers' names.
To tell you the funny story, I've actually never watched a single series in my life. I've only watched two actually. I've watched Drive to Survive, which is like a docu-series on Netflix. But Nakona, I watched it for a reason because I'm involved in racing a lot, horse racing. So F1, Formula 1 racing and horse racing, sort of a bit similar. It has a bit of similarities. And the other one that I watched was Narcos.
Oh yeah.
Narcos,
the drug dealing. I've watched the Narcos.
I watched it only because Vusite Maguire over there, he recommended it, right?
Okay.
I only watched that one there. But other than that, I've never actually followed. I tried watching Squid Game the other day. I'm
not interested.
I'm also not interested. I just think that the marketing was good.
Yeah.
Marketing was fine.
The problem with me, once I see a lot of marketing behind it, a movie or whatever, I know the content for me is not going to work out. Yeah. Because it's going to be the norm. Yeah. The stuff that you are used to, of. There's nothing that's going to be unique. Yeah. Because that's what they do. They will sell you a product, and when you go there and you watch, you're like,
Yeah,
but it's not as I expected. So I tend to avoid, if there's a hype behind something, I tend to avoid it because I know I'm gonna get disappointed.
You're gonna get disappointed. So anyway, those are the two. So Shameless and Suits, I know about them, but I haven't watched them. So
you should check them out. They're nice.
Yeah. So nice. Other writers in South Africa that you like?
I didn't mention names because me, I'm bad with names. I don't know. It's essay. Who's writing?
Or which show do you think was well written? I think you did mention it earlier, actually.
No, the thing is, the production would be nice for me, but story-wise, it doesn't really satisfy me. So I would love a movie or I would love a series, but when it comes to story, I would have a problem because there's something missing all the time. But if I can pick one in essay, my goodness.
But my Luzuko, tell me, I know you just said honesty is important in a good story.
Yeah.
You know, what else do you watch and when you suss out the story, you think, no man, you know what's missing here maybe is like, for instance, sometimes I'd watch I watched this Blood and Water, and over there it was totally not South African. You know, I don't know if you've watched it.
I know, I actually
on Netflix.
I think I stopped it in 10 minutes.
Right.
I think I watched 3 scenes. I was like, I'm done.
Right? Yeah, me too. I think I watched 1 episode. It's not South African.
Not even an episode with me. 3 scenes.
3 scenes.
From here, she moved to there, and there I was like, I can foresee where the ending is going.
How crazy is it that sometimes you switch on a movie and in the first 5 minutes you know that this is not for me.
I was taught in writing school. The first 2 minutes is the most important. If you're writing a series, the first episode should be the hit. Because the audience needs to have a reason to sit down and watch. Because you have your own time. You have a podcast here you're thinking about. So I'm competing with your podcast when you're watching my movie. Why would you leave this podcast and watch my movie? So that first 2, 3 minutes, 5 minutes for me is the most important whenever I write. If I grab you from that, then I'm able to drive you. I'm in control of you now. Because the reason you are watching is because of you want to see what's going to happen. Once you predict and it happens, you switch off.
How do you grab people's attention in the first 2 minutes?
They need to ask themselves, where is this going? You don't feed them and tell them where it's going. They need to always ask themselves, where is this character going? Is he gonna die? Surprisingly, he gets hit by a car. The next scene, you don't know whether he's dead or not. And then when you find it, like, he's a main actor, but he died. How? 3 scenes down the line, this guy died, but he's the main actor. Only to find that he's in coma. Oh, how? Then you drive them, because now they need to ask, but this guy is dead. How can he be in coma? No, he's not in coma. He was dreaming. Okay, he was dreaming. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What happened after he dreamt? So you need to always surprise your audience. In every scene, there needs to be a shock of, okay, until the end, where they're like, oh, now they know that this guy is gonna win, but they want to know how is he gonna win, or how she's gonna win.
I got you.
So once you are able to do that with the audience, then you got the powers right.
And then what makes a good character? How do you create a good character?
For me, I always look for someone who can portray the character honestly.
Like when you're writing a character, what makes a good character when you create?
You need to hear the character speaking to your head. If you're true to your writing, the characters needs to speak to you. I've hardly hear a good writer who says, "I'm just writing," without hearing the actors in his head. Because when you write the words, you hear them in your head. They are talking to you, and then you write whatever. So that's why when you cast and an actor says some lines, it will remind you that this is the perfect person, because they might go with what you had when you were writing in your head. So for me, if you are a writer and whenever you write, you don't have these words or you don't have these voices in your head of your actors, because you need to see that lady in your head. They need to speak to you. You need to see that kid when you write a dialogue for a kid. It needs to speak to you. So if you don't have those in your mind and you are writing, we write differently. I don't want to say everyone, but majority of the time, for me, I need to hear them, and then I need to write them down.
I was watching this other YouTube video, and this guy was saying,
what makes a good character? That's a very, very good point, by the way. I like it because it adds to what I'm saying. When you hear the character and you can see them, it's sort of because there's a reference point.
Yeah.
Maybe you've dealt with the person, you've interacted with a person like that before, or you from your background in your family or whatever. This guy was saying that the best writers are people who can write and create characters based on themselves, based on their fears. You know what I mean? Based on their experiences, and because when you can dig deep within you, it's easier. You've got a very good reference point because you're digging within yourself. So when you create a character, you can he was saying, literally think of your worst fear, your worst fears, or 5 fears. Those are 5 different characters. You know what I mean? Because you can go deeper. Nobody knows yourself than you. You think these things are in your head. You think about your worst fears every day, right? Some people don't. Some people do. You know what I mean? So he says, then once you've done that, your characters needs to have faults. The more faulty your character, the more insecure they are, the more the more sort of not perfect they are. They need to make mistakes. They need to have demons. And obviously along the line, it's either they overcome those demons and those milestones, or they don't. Sometimes they don't have to, because it's a good it's a good impactful story. So you were saying, the more just, lack of a better word, the more fucked up a character is, the more people relate to them, because they look at him or look at her, they're like, I actually fear the same thing that this guy fears. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he said, and I relate a lot with that. I was like, wow, that actually makes a lot of sense, because then you look at a lot of he's counting his characters. How many characters do you have? 64 characters. 64 fears. Jesus, brother. So, now I watch a lot of shows, and I look at the character, and I think, the more I'm involved with film, the more I understand writing and characters. I say, okay, this is how they wrote this guy. This is how they made this character interesting. You know what I'm saying? This is what this guy is fearing. It's interesting, bro. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, but writing is different for everyone. He might say that, but my thing is...
What do you think about that?
My thing is, do I have to be a gangster now to write about a gangster? I don't need to, because I might die and get. But it's nice maybe for a character, I always say. If you're going to play a character, some will take to a length of going to Cape Town if they have to. Go to a group and say, I just want to be here and experience what you go through every day. Because remember, as an actor, you need to be true to the character. Some other characters who are taking it serious, they will even do that. Somebody who never lived a shag, who lived a comfortable life. Some will say, as in, I can go Elokshine and stay for 5 days in a shack, maybe in a certain family, just to get the sense of how it feels. Because you might play the character, but you don't even know the essence of the struggle of the character. So even when you're writing, it's the same issue. If I'm going to write about a gangster, how true can I be? Because I've never lived that life before. But I've seen gangsters around me. I've seen maybe robbers around me. And the stories that are told within the family, the stories that are told amongst friends, and then you choose, and you watch TV, you watch movies, you read newspapers, you read books, and they all sometimes say the same thing about their lifestyle. But if you have one person that you are lucky to know, that person will give you a proper research for you of, me as a gangster, this is what I did. Because each and every gangster is different from each other. You can't play a gangster the same way. You might be a gangster as Mlazi, you might be a gangster as Mwamashu. So they can't be the same also. They can't be the same because personalities are not the same. So if I'm going to write about it, I need to understand how does he think Mlazi? If he's a gangster, if he's a father, if he's a child. Because the environment is not the same as another way. Because if they come at at 5 or 6 and they have to live here, going back to Wamashu, life has changed for them. It's not the same. So I need to understand that as I write, that when do I establish the character? Do I establish at 20? What happened before 20 years? So I need to understand that and get the essence of the character. So I don't write you at 20 years old, because your demons started way earlier, at 12 or 13. So I need to find something within the character that I know for sure why at 20 you will act like this. If you are a spoiled brat, why at that age, if I write you will be a spoiled brat? What are the reasons around it? I don't need to show it in the movie, but I need to have little bits of it, so that obviously as an audience, I don't need to feed you everything. I can't, because I like those audiences that think when they're watching a movie, they're like, okay, I see what the writer was doing here, and it's so intelligent. I didn't think it that way. Because whatever we show on TV, it's something you know of, but sometimes you don't take attention. You're like, I've seen it, but I've never put mind into it. So the thing with me is, whenever I'm watching a movie, it should be a factor of, I knew this, but the way the writer wrote it, I like it. Because they went out of the box of saying that dialogue, writing that dialogue, and say, I want this dialogue to be said like this. Not the normal way of people saying it. And then when they say it, you're like, but I know this, but at the end of the day, the way they said it and the way it was written, it's amazing. So those are the wow moments for me, of writing something you know, but you're like, but I didn't think it that way.
Oh, that's amazing, bro. When it comes to Hollywood, who's your favorite director?
It has to be Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
Director?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You know why I'm saying this? Because
Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon.
No. He Lethal Weapon.
He was acting there though.
Yeah, he directed quite a number. The Apocalypse.
Yes.
Is the one, and also there's one. The me, I'm bad with names, man. I don't know why. But he had quite a number of movies which I enjoyed as a director. Because with him, when he directs, he just doesn't direct for you to see the vision. He directs as an actor. He understands the whole vision. That's why when you watch his movies, you can believe the actors. Because when he directs from a point of being an actor. So he becomes an actor director at the same time.
Yes.
So that's why when I watch the movie he does, I'm like, I can believe that movie. Because he also did Passion of Christ. Yeah, he's the one who directed that. He wrote that.
Mel Gibson is black, eh?
No, he's white. He's white. He's very intelligent. So he started as an actor until he also got interested in directing. So I loved his movies because of the fact that it's what I said before. He's true to the characters.
Yes.
He directs in such a way that you'll believe the characters when you watch them.
Yeah.
Because he comes from a background of being an actor.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, black guys, Spike Lee. I mean, each and every one of us love Spike Lee.
We all love Spike Lee because he was also his movies have a message.
Yeah, he's done that for quite a long time. And the reason I like him is the struggle that he went through.
Yeah.
Because at some point, Oprah had to put money when he was doing Malcolm X. Guys from the industry who knew him, they put in money for him to finish the movie. So he understands the hustle of being independent. So that's why I follow him, not just as a director, but as a guy who owns a production. Because he struggled to actually have his movies out. Because he will shoot a movie, runs out of money, he needs to call his buddies, your Jay-Z, and then they need to put money in order for him to finish movies back in the days. So he knows the struggle as an independent.
You think his cut success period?
No, man. He had a series running on Netflix, and I enjoyed it. So he's around. He's around, and he's doing also master classes on YouTube. You can go and join his master classes. So I think he's just shoot another. His new movie is coming soon. Because I think he did some projects.
Yeah, I need to check him out. You know, bruh, for me, my favorite director, and it might sound cliche, bruh, but you know, Scorsese and Christopher Nolan and David Fincher. Those guys, dog.
Yeah.
They've directed some of my most favorite.
Those guys are crazy.
Those guys are amazing.
They're sick.
You know what I mean? You know, Jeffetsu, my favorite movies of all time, dog.
of all time, and I think that era of making movies is over.
Yeah, I know.
I think that era of 1990 to about 2005, that 15-year period, the movies that were made during that time were amazing, dog. Like if you look at a movie like what do you call The Matrix? The Matrix is my favorite movie, right? And so if you look at that, the storyline of that movie, dog, and it's crazy because I think most of us didn't understand what AI was when 1999, when that movie was released. But now AI is right here. We interact with AI every day, and we're like, what? These guys were talking about this, and these things are ruling our lives right now. And they were saying that these things are going to take over your life. They're going to control you. These robots are going to be the masters of the world. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's where we're going now.
Yeah, bro.
Apparently, there are guys who are building cars now who can fly. In China, they are building those cars who can fly. So that's where we're going now. I think that is happening soon. Where now people are just going to fly up.
That's crazy, bro.
So they are testing it in China. They are companies, guys who actually built a car that can fly. Because they've been toying around these ideas for a while. But remember now, everything that happens now, things that were planned way 20 years or 30 years ago. But it's only when it manifests now we think it's new. Cell phones, I believe cell phones have been there for a long time. But they will introduce things slowly. Because they know the new technology the next 10, 15 years. They know where we're going.
Yeah.
But it's only that they're going to introduce it slowly, right? Because I think there's someone who worked on a phone idea 10 or 15 years ago, 100 years ago. But some people are like, nah, not for now. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And also I watched some video where they talked about time traveling. And in some videos, by mistake, somebody in the 1850s, somebody had this phone in that video. And they're like, how? Because these phones are introduced now. So when you look at it and you're like, maybe there's some truth. But these things were built way back, but they only get introduced at certain years.
Yeah.
So like wars, we know that maybe at a certain time, there will be a war. At a certain time, there will be a war. So I think some things are always planned. They just happen and we think, oh, okay, there's a war. But it's been building up to that.
Do you think that when the looting started in South Africa, there was supposed to be a war?
That was well planned.
I think there was supposed to be a war.
That was well planned. You
don't think that the objective was for a war?
I think it was more of sending a message of some kind.
From who to who?
Because it happens exactly during the time Alice jail, like it. This whole thing of him being arrested and all of that. So it was a message of, we can start something if we want to. We can mess up businesses.
So
it
was a message from Italy.
I really don't know, but for me, I feel that could be a well-planned situation of if we want to fuck up the world of South Africa, we can.
The Zulus,
Not really, all of us, because we all struggled. No one was important during looting.
But who do you think was sending the message?
I really don't have any answer for that, but with my observation is it might be a thing of we can do this if we want to. Because if you look at the strategic places that were destroyed, these are big menaces that were destroyed and that were taken down, that were burnt down. And if you look around the police, what they were doing, they were watching all the time. Look at how it took.
The police had, it's like they were told.
Some of them, they were just.
Don't do anything.
Then that's why I'm saying then it could be at some point a planned thing, and it was well planned.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Now, brew. I like hearing what people, what people's top 3 favorite movies are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just something that I'm interested in. When I'm talking with people, just to see what type of films you like. Like for me, my top 3 films is The Matrix, Fight Club, and Wolf of Wall Street. Those are my top 3 favorite movies. With you, bro, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Your favorite movie of all time? I hope I'm remembering these movies. So it could be anywhere.
Anywhere.
Here
South Africa,
or
Ghana, Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Okay, my breakout movie in SA, it was Tsotsi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you mean your breakout? You were part of it?
No, in terms of being introduced into the world. Remember, it won an Oscar.
Yes, it did.
So I think that's when now the whole world started to see that we have something in SA. So I like the fact that for it to even go through those hustles and loop, I mean, it did wonderful in terms of putting us out there. So I would say here Tsotsi is one movie I can always count in my list. And then
I think I agree with you.
the other film I would go for. And it's so sad that when I leave here, I'm going to remember all my favorites. It's only because I hardly find someone who asks me my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So it's not easy now to go back. The Apocalypto, what is it? Apocalypse, yeah. That's my favorite movie.
I need to actually have this.
You need to check it out. The Apocalypse, it's nice. And also, I love this Last Samurai. Last Samurai. Also, that's one movie I like. Because for me, that's how we were brainwashed. Because this guy goes in and learns how to fight while he's not the same race as the others. So it takes me back to the brainwash that happened to us way back. So you should watch that movie, The Last Samurai.
I'll check it out.
It's a nice story. I think that those are the movies that I always fall back to in terms of learning and keeping the inspiration going.
Now, before we wrap up, Luzuko, I want to ask you, when I walked in last week, we conversation. You guys are having a very, very deep conversation about the South African film industry.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know what's your perspective on what's the problem with the South African film industry? What do you think the problem is?
As I said before, when we started, government. Yeah, because that's where the source of money comes from mostly. And also private sector, as you were saying, because you can't just go to any private sector and say you need money to shoot, because they don't really understand filmmaking or television making. So you hardly find brands attaching themselves to movies and saying, okay, I've got this certain drink that comes and they actually funded me, because they really don't understand what we're doing unless it's a commercial where you're selling their brand. But even then it's a discussion. Some of them don't understand the marketing using television as a source of marketing. So I feel like if you can fix our government so that we know in our sector when it comes to finances, it filters through to everyone. And when you're saying you're funding filmmakers, 1 million is not enough.
Yes.
To shoot a project.
Yeah.
So that money at some point it needs to be a fair, and also it should be money that this will make sure that from actors to technical, everyone will be happy in terms of their salaries. Because if you give me enough money to shoot a movie, then everyone is happy because you are able to pay everyone whatever they deserve. Yeah. So if we can have private companies and private sectors coming in, and also our government fixing whatever situation in terms of supporting the film or entertainment sector, then I feel like then we will be in a good position. But so far, I think we're failing when it comes to that, our government and also private sectors coming into play, into supporting this.
Yeah, I got you. And then the Durban Film Commission, do you think they do what they're supposed to? Do they actually support small filmmakers and film productions when we come with ideas, or is it like a corrupt organization?
Yeah, they can do so much, man. I really, my attitude is I can try you. If you closing the doors for me now, I'm not stopping. I'll do it either way. So you'll come to me maybe 2 or 3 years down the line. The progress is there. So I hate blaming anyone for my own success. I always look at it as if they can't help me now, they will at some point. Because I understand that you need to put up yourself out there. They need to see there's something that you do in order for them to get interested in you. So there are accusations about corruption, which is, I've never experienced that because I've never been funded.
Yeah. Have you been? You've never been funded by anyone?
No, never been funded. I do my own stuff in my own pocket.
You've shot films
in my own pocket.
That you've done.
So yeah, I can't really say much about, because if I've had the money, and I will be able to answer you and say I got this much money, I didn't get it all, or I got half. I can't say that because I've never been sponsored by them or get funding.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy because like I got a couple of films that I'm thinking of taking to them, but I just don't know how they are. You know, I don't know if you go there, you need to like bribe a person. You know, government organizations will give you 50 million for this project of yours, but give us, you know,
everywhere there's tea, Baba.
There's tea, yeah.
You have to give some cold drink. Yeah.
It's
rare for others not to do it, but yeah.
It's crazy. It's just sad how things are, but I think it's like that all over the world. It's not just South Africa.
Yeah, everywhere.
It's sad that sometimes we think we're the only ones who are fucked up.
Nah, everywhere. Every culture, every race does that. But it's how much of it you do. Because us, we don't ever stop. We do it too much.
We do too much, and it's trickling down across every government sector, and it's sad. Department of Education, Traffic Department, you know, Health and Safety, whatever department you think about, from the people who are in management positions to the people who are in the front desk. You want to go see Mr. Dlamini at this, give me 5,000 rand or something. I'll set you up a meeting with him. My brother, anyway, it's been amazing. Yeah. It's been amazing, man. It's been a great conversation talking with you, man. I've learned so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully we're gonna do it again. And yeah, I know that the people who are listening had a great experience with us. You know, so for the guys that are listening and watching, please drop a comment below. And tell us what you think about the South African film industry and what's your favorite movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Brother.
All right, man.
In closing, man, is there anything you want to say? Add?
Nah, man, in closing is, if you want to do something, do it, man. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And don't wait for cash to come.
Yes.
And when you go and apply to these guys, I understand why they will say no. Because you can't just accept anyone who doesn't have proof.
Yes.
Like me, if I come to you and say I want to co-present this program, you can't just take my word for it. I need to give you a tape or show you that I'm talented. So it goes also with funders.
Yeah.
They need to see something first.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep shooting my own stuff, because I want them at some point to, when I go to them, I have a catalog of my own stuff and say, this is what I've done. Can you guys help me out now? I didn't sit down and wait for you. I did my work. I ran a conversation, Durban filmmakers in conversation. I did mentorship, did workshop, actors workshop, directors workshop. How can you come and help me now? Because I feel like you need to come into play. So I always think the best advice I can give anyone, never sit down and expect that you're going to get funding tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can't just
go out and film.
You've never worked on $1 million budget before, and now you go and apply, you want $1 million budget.
You have never even worked on a 5,000 rand budget.
5,000, you don't even know what it is.
You see what I'm saying?
And I always ask guys, who is investing now in their future? Are you putting 1,000 or 500 every month so that you can shoot your own movie?
Yes.
Because at some point you need to do that.
So before you leave, I need you to sign my wall.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, let's wrap up and then you'll sign off camera. Thank you, brother.
Sharp man. Now so.